Why are your teammates so toxic in Marvel Rivals? Today, I want to try to answer that question for you and how you can fix the problem to the best of your ability. First, I think the main reason as to why teammates are so toxic in Marvel Rivals more than any of these other competitive shooter games is that Marvel Rivals reaches such a larger audience, and when you have a higher volume of people concentrated in one area or doing one thing, there's more of a chance you get a larger volume of bad apples. And contrary to a lot of people who think Marvel Rivals is dying, I actually just made a video about that. Marvel Rivals is doing really well, especially for a game that should be just outside of its honeymoon phase. It's kept up really well with this competition. So yeah, I think that's the main thing. Pretty much Marvel Rivals just has a huge player base. But the second reason has to be the massive rank inflation in this game and the amount of players that are reaching Grandmaster, Celestial, Eternity. You get the point. Normally, to reach a high rank in most competitive shooters, you have to be really critical of your own gameplay in order to climb the ranks, solo queue especially. But when you have a game like Marvel Rivals, where it's so easy to rank up and you can literally just play like 500 games in a season to hit Grandmaster, even if you have below a 50% win rate, which is atrocious. Well, let me say atrocious if you're trying to rank up to one of the highest ranks in the game. It's not atrocious if you're trying your best and you're critical of your own gameplay and you're getting better. But in this case, you have people with below 50% win rates reaching Grandmaster Celestial. And because they were never critical of their own gameplay while they were climbing the ranks, and this is the highest rank they've ever been in any competitive shooter, they're more desperate for wins. So therefore, they're more critical of other people's gameplay immediately. Even as soon as the game starts, sometimes you'll have kids sitting in spawn and complaining that you're not in 2-2-2, when in reality, in this game, you don't need to be 2-2-2 every single game to win. So where in other games, you'll have a lot of toxic players between Plat and Diamond, because those are the ranks where you're not playing with the bottom of the barrel of the player base. It's where you're trying to get into that upper echelon. That's where usually the most toxic players are. But in this game, because of what I've just explained, it's in all ranks, on top of the player base being so huge for this game. This next point can kind of go into my first point, but I feel like the Marvel IP attracts a lot of casual players to this game instead of competitive shooter players, like a game like Overwatch. Now, don't get me wrong, Overwatch is really competitive, so there will be a lot of toxic players in that game, but because Marvel is so much more of a casual IP, it's going to attract casual players. And I'm not saying all casual players are toxic, but some casual players I do know for a fact that don't know how to play hero shooters will just get toxic out of frustration because of how hard it can be to get kills, facilitate a team fight, etc. If this isn't your first time playing a hero shooter, you don't understand how frustrating it is to get into this genre. And this kind of goes into my final point too, but the characters in Marvel Rivals are really overpowered, especially compared to other competitive shooters. Pretty much every single character has at least one really broken ability that's really frustrating to go against. And if you're a really good player, some of these abilities might not affect you, but it affects the majority of the player base, because the majority of players sit in ranks below Diamond and or have never played hero shooters before. So abilities like Jeff Ult, Punisher turret, any flying character at all, people in low ranks don't look up at all, support ults, Captain America, Bucky. The fact that Bucky still gets shield on all of his abilities is insane. You get the point. Just think about pretty much every character. You can name at least one OP ability on every single character. If you play ranked and your teammates are really toxic and you think it's preventing you from ranking up, then just mute chat. You don't need comms to win games. Be critical of your own gameplay. Watch it back if you need to, and you will improve. There's tons of good guides on YouTube on how to rank up on your favorite character, so toxic teammates aren't the issue. But if you are a casual player just trying to enjoy the game, I could see why you'd probably quit, because even in pubs, there's so much toxicity that just shouldn't be there. But yeah, I think this has gone on long enough. If you've been watching this far, I appreciate you. Have a good day. Peace.